Hello, Kickball, and welcome to Encroachment Episode 8, where we are talking about a monster of a tournament. This is the preview for GKO, the Georgia Kickball Open, in the home of Coca-Cola, Atlanta, Georgia. This is looking to be the biggest kickball tournament of the year so far, and I'm going to throw it down as a contender for possibly the largest of the year. We have 1 million teams playing in this tournament, so we've got all sorts of drawing and prognostication about who's playing in which pools, who's going to win which pools, etc. It's going to be a big, long, epic disaster, so settle in. It's going to be fun. With me, as always, is Stephen Ozier, CEO of Kickball 365, and we've also got special guest, event manager, and bearded guru of Flying V, Mr. Brickford Fawcett. Say hello to the people, Brick.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And 1 million people just answered you because that's how this sort of thing works. It's very interactive. Okay, so we've got obviously things going on in Atlanta this weekend. Plenty of time, obviously, to talk about the kickball coming up. But let's start with just a quick rundown of the events. Rumor there's going to be a bar crawl Thursday night, social events Friday night, Saturday night, etc. Do we have any information about that yet, or is it still forthcoming?
Yeah, we've got it all planned out. The welcome email will go out the next day or so. But like you said, there is a bar crawl Thursday night. We've got 4 or 5 bars lined up right around the host hotels that we've got set up. So everything's within walking distance. It's great. We're going to be right around Midtown, Georgia this year, which is different than the Buckhead area that we've been the last couple of years. Still right around the same area, but this is right next to Piedmont Park. It's a beautiful area. I think people are really going to enjoy the change.
Good, good. Now, and it does pose the question, how is Atlanta as a party town? I mean, obviously, we had South Florida about a month or so ago where things can get positively ratchet there. That's where the phrase Florida ratchet comes from. Tournament a couple of weeks ago in Vegas, and we know Vegas is a big party town. We've got Austin coming up next month, and we know the disaster that is 6th Street. Atlanta doesn't seem like a big party town to me. I mean, is there a scene there? Does stuff happen? Or is it just Ted Turner, like, pointing at everybody and talking about how he owns all of cable TV?
No, there is definitely a scene. In Atlanta, I would say is kind of sectioned off. You've got different party scenes in different areas. Some areas a little more chill. Some are a little, more collegey. Some are a little more emo. But
please tell me you have the kickball stuff for this weekend in the emo quarter. I want to see the emo kickball party.
I think it might touch a little bit, but it's settled. It's more of a chill area. A lot of the bars and areas that we're going to be in, have outdoor patios. It's just, I think it's going to be a little different than last year, but everything kind of has its own identity. So,
plenty to be had as far as what's going on that doesn't have anything to do with what's going on the fields. So let's get to the fields. We've got the co-ed tournament on Saturday, and we've got, 28 to 32, 1 million teams. How many teams do we have going?
We ended up with 27 from all over the place.
Excellent, excellent. And just looking over the list, most of the big guns seem to be represented. That is to say, most of the known franchise teams from that part of the country. I didn't see Relax, I didn't see Meatballs, I didn't see Panic Attack, but other than those, most every other team is represented. Yeah.
Correct. We've got a couple teams from Virginia that are coming down that haven't been in the last couple of years. Hammerheads, it's their first time coming. Situation hasn't been around in a couple of years. So it looks like everybody's lined up to put GKO on their spot or on their list to attend this year. So yeah, you're exactly right. But I do see a bunch of Meatballs, a bunch of the Relax guys, a bunch of Panic that are represented on some of the available teams that are coming.
Perfect. So yeah. Everybody goes to Georgia. I love it. Well, let's get started then putting together what everybody wants to know, and that is how the pools are going to suss out. We've got Steven standing by to do a partial draw because my understanding this is going to be a snake-seeded tournament with a draw for the open teams. Do I have that right?
Yes, that is 100% correct. Again, like you said, the number's 27 teams. We have 17 teams that we could rank, and then there's 10 open teams. So with it being a snake draw, what we're doing is we're going to be, from the open teams bin, we're going to be drawing for their slot, which is 18 to 27, and then they just plug in snake format. For most people are aware with what snake format is. So what we're doing right now is we're drawing for teams 18 to 27. You want to get it started?
Let's do it, yes. And then once these are drawn, give it an hour or two for all of the various gnomes and Oompa Loompas to put things together in the spreadsheets. And from there, we should have a pool schedule, correct?
Correct. With this being a snake draw, it's basically done. Right now we're just plug and play. We just got to, figure out who goes where, and then we'll get the schedule out to you guys relatively shortly. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, less plug, more play. Steven, start drawing start drawing our open teams.
All right, so 1 through 17 go like this. Number 1 is Situation. Number 2 is Shockwave. 3 is Lights Out. 4 is Cobra Kai. 5 is Legit. 6 is Hammerhead. 7 is Flying V. 8 is Flying D. 9 is Most Wanted. 10 is Oh Danny Balls. 11 is Adrenaline. 12 is Bayou Ballbusters. 13 is Kick-Fil-A. 14 is Chaos. 15 is 300. 16 is J. Crew. 17 is Renegades. And 18 is...
Comes the draw.
Number 1, Team Iceland. Team Iceland is your number 18 team.
Now, while you're getting ready to draw the next one, I'd just like to point out that Team Iceland is almost an awesome name. I would have preferred if you'd called yourselves Team Iceman and had a picture of Val Kilmer from Top Gun on your jerseys. That's the only note I have for your team.
Team number 19. Number 19 is Afternoon Delights.
What pools are you able to see? What pools these are going in and update that as
Yeah, I definitely can. So number 19 is Afternoon Delight. I'm sorry, I'm writing it down as we go as well. So that number 18 team is going to go into pool. It'll be C, Team Iceland. And then number 19, Afternoon Delight, goes into pool B.
If Timmy is keeping his big brother eye on this podcast while we're recording it, it would be very good of him to update the spreadsheet. That way people can follow along at home.
Very true. Very true. So, team number 20, not today. Not today. They jump into pool A.
Rookie team.
Yeah. Team number 21. Urban Legends. 21 is Urban Legends. They drop in pool A as well. And I'll be able to tell you guys exactly how this shapes out just as soon as we pull it.
Excellent.
22. Balls Deep. So original.
What a great name. I'd never heard that before.
Team number 23. 23 is going to be Unleashed.
Good movie starring Jet Li, Bob Hoskins, and Morgan Freeman. I approve.
24 is going to be Underdogs. 25. TMT, Camp Money. 26. TKO. And 27. Ball Rockers. So you have your pools. If anyone is paying attention or carrying the lesson, let's go over them. Pool number A is going to be the number 1 team, Sitch, number 10, O'Danny Balls, number 11, Adrenaline, and then the 2 open teams, Not Today and Urban Legends. Pool B, Shockwave, number 2, number 9, Most Wanted. What is that? Number 12. My writing is terrible. Number 12, Bayou Ballbusters, BBB, and then the 2 open teams, Afternoon Delight and Balls Deep. Pool C, number 3, Lights Out, number 8, Flying D, number 13, Kicks Filet, and then the 2 open teams, Team Iceland and Unleashed. And then we've got Pool D, number 4 seed Cobra Kai, number 7 Flying V, number 14 Chaos, number 17 Renegades, and then the 2 open teams Underdogs and Ball Rockers. And then the last pool E, is number 5, Legit, number 6, Hammerheads, number 15, 300, number 16, J. Crew, and then the 2 open teams, TMT Camp Money and TKO. And there are your pools.
Excellent. Now, so A, B, and C have 5 teams apiece. I suspect they all play each other. D and E look to have more than 5 teams apiece. How does that break down? Who doesn't play who in teams D and E? Just so we know.
Rickford?
1 doesn't play 6, 2 doesn't play 5, and 3 doesn't play 4.
Okay, gotcha. So just bracketed is who you skip.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, I don't know which one of these pools is the pool of death because they all look pretty damn tough. The top 2 or 3 teams in each pool looks pretty rough. I would contend that I haven't seen Adrenaline play in who knows how long, nor have I seen Chick-fil-A or Chaos. But Pool B with the Bayou Ballbusters as the 3 seed in that pool, and then above them Most Wanted and Shockwave. That seems like that could be a pretty tough pool. Nominal, front runner for a pool of death in my opinion. Brick, Steven, if you guys want to give more information to correct me, please do.
I definitely think that's a tough pool. I think Pool A might be the pool of death. I think Stitch, will go 4-0, but having Adrenaline as the number 3 seed there is no easy case. We scrimmaged them a couple weeks ago, and they've added some new talent that hasn't been out on the circuit yet. Added some pitching depth, and they're looking really good right now.
And also, interesting thing about Pool A, a little bit of I want to say a grudge match rematch from last year. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Situation play O'Danny Balls at Founders Cup?
Yes, they did. I think O'Danny Balls
wasn't. Yeah, the result of that game was not the one that was expected. Didn't ODB get by Situation, or did Situation win?
No, O'Danny Balls took it to him.
Yeah, so that'll be a good grudge match. I imagine Scott, Duncan, Sal, and everybody else on Situation, whose name happens to be Edge, are looking forward to this matchup to perhaps give a little bit of payback for that game at Founders Cup last year.
Yeah, the O'Danny Balls will have a very similar team to their Vegas roster, in addition to a few other faces that weren't there. So ODB's got probably one of the best teams I've seen on paper that them bring to a tournament so far.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry. Pool A is definitely going to be a pool to watch. The team that I don't want people to sleep on, which hopefully no one is anymore, is the Hammerheads. That 2 seed in Pool E under Legit. I think that Legit and Hammerheads will make it out. The way Hammerheads played in Florida, if they add a couple more people, a little bit more depth, man, I think they're going to be extremely dangerous. So that's definitely my sleeper pick. In Pool E, I think that may not end up the way that people think it will.
Yeah. Well, Hammerheads, it looks like they're bringing almost twice as many guys as they had in Florida, so they'll be fully stocked. So pretty cool. This is almost a 3-4 matchup. These were the 2 losers from the Final Four in Fort Lauderdale, and here they are meeting up in pool play. So that's definitely going to be a real interesting matchup to watch.
Definitely.
Very good. Very good. And then also we've got things happening in other pools as well. Shockwave. I think Shockwave gets out of Pool B without a loss. Although Most Wanted, one of these days, Most Wanted is going to surprise the hell out of somebody, go 4-0 in pool play, and suddenly they're going to be in the semis or finals. One of these days, that's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be this tournament or not. Pool C. I would contend, with the exception of the matchup against Flying D, Lights Out has a pretty straightforward time getting through that pool. Although, looking at the roster for Team Iceland, Iceland could give them some trouble. And of course, with the roster and all of the various availables, strong players on Flying D, they could very definitely give Lights Out a little bit of trouble in their pool play matchup. Pool D, we've got Cobra Kai and Flying V. Brick, you're playing for Flying V. How do you feel about having to face off against Cobra Kai ahead of you in this pool?
It is weird being a number 2 seed, especially our recent success, especially in this tournament. So it'll be different coming from there. I like the matchup with Cobra Kai. We've matched up with them well every time we've played. Usually a close game. But we got the best of them the last couple of years in the finals 2 years ago, and then in the Final Four last year. But it's a team that we match up well against. I feel very, very confident against them. I like how our pool looks.
Yeah, good stuff. Now on the Cobra Kai roster, I haven't had a chance to check and cross-check and do my full PI research on all the names. Is Cobra Kai just the Florida crew, or are they bringing down any of the Oregon auxiliary for this tournament?
It looks like it's just the Florida crew. Very similar to the team they had last year. Obviously missing Patio and Roy, who played with them last year on loan from LSC. But they've got the top of their lineup with Beal and Corey James, and the other guy's name is Patrick. Patrick doesn't attend many tournaments, but real quick guy. Add him to the big legs they have after it with the Gordons, Kellen and Logan Miller. If they get runners on, they can be a force. And Cobra Kai always seems to play really well in Georgia. A surprise finals appearance 2 years ago with a very short-handed squad. This year they're coming with a very similar team as they had last year and the year before. So I expect them to do well. They like the turf.
Excellent, excellent. And, of course, then Pool E, we already touched on a little bit, the legit Hammerheads matchup. Those two guys having done well in South Florida, now facing off against each other. And then, of course, 300, the home team of everybody's favorite national kickballer, the Young Runner. So before we get into the specifics of Final Four, who's going to make it to the finals, dark horse, sleeper picks, that sort of thing, I'm just going to put it out there. How many times is Young Runner getting on base this tournament? I'm going to say he's going to go 9 for 12 on base.
300 going pretty far then. No joke.
I think it's entirely possible the rest of the team is going to have a rough day and they'll probably shit the bed. But Young Runner is going 9 for 12.
I think I've got him going 6 for 9.
Okay. Okay. Steven?
I'll jump right in the middle. I don't think he's going to get 12 at kicks. It's going to be closer to 9 or 10. I think he'll go, I'll say 7 for 10 is what he'll end up on for the day.
Okay. So all three of us have 300 then getting out of pool play.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to hear it. I like to hear it. That means they're going to do all right, and well, that means they're either going to upset legit or Hammerheads at some point, or they're just going to positively clobber the two teams below them and get out on differential. But yes, I would like to see 300 in the eliminations. We're going to 16 in this tournament, correct?
Correct.
16. Okay. Excellent. So. Now, rather than go through the whole March Madness bracket chaos of trying to figure out 16, 8, 4, whatever, because apparently everybody has to have the conversation every tournament. Brick, what are your picks for Final Four?
Let me pull up this real quick. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to take us Flying V. I think we've got history on our side. Hopefully we can keep it up. I will take Lights Out and Danny Balls. They were Final Four 2 years ago. I like what they're bringing. They're tough on turf. And last one, I'll take Cobra Kai as well.
Oh. Two teams from Pool D make it to the Final Four, and Situation Shockwave nowhere to be seen. You heard it from Rick Fawcett first, kids. Of course, if he's right, I'm going to feel really stupid. Steven, what about you? Who do you think's making it to the Final Four?
All right, I'm going to go. My Final Four teams are. I'm going to agree with Brick. A little home cooking. I'm going to say Flying V is going to be there. I'm going to go Flying V, Shockwave, Lights Out, and Hammerheads. That's my four.
I like it. I like it. I like both of you guys ignored Situation. I'm gonna say Situation does make it to the Final Four. I mean, I get what everybody's selling, and everybody's like, Situation. They won the Circuit Cup last year, but they fell apart against Meatballs in South Florida. That being said, I don't think Situation's old and washed up and sleepy yet. I think that Situation's going to make it to the Final Four. They still got something to prove, and they're not really going to fall apart until the Virginia Beach Kickball Open. That's where they're going to shit the bed and not make it out of pool play. But for this tournament, they're making it to the Final Four. I think Shockwave's going to make it as well. And can't quite say Hammerheads are going to make it yet, which I look to as a challenge to prove me wrong, because if they do make it, then I'm going to feel really stupid, but I'm also going to be very proud of you guys. So what do I've got? I got Situation, Shockwave. I'm going to say Cobra Kai makes it over Flying V. I'm sorry, Rick, but you know what? They're named after the Karate Kid. I got to love that. I prefer the Karate Kid to the Mighty Ducks. So I'm going Cobra Kai over Flying V. And then... you know what? Just to be an asshole, I'm going to say that Flying D makes it to the Final Four, but they completely shit the bed and get mercied by the third inning.
Holy shit, guys! We're kind of all over the place.
Oh, we are. We should always be all over the place at this point. Haven't I tried to make this point many, many times? At this point in the game, with all of the teams as solid as they are, I mean, the top teams as solid as they are, as strong as they are, it's anybody's tournament. I mean, you look at the top 8, 10 teams that are going to this tournament. Flip a 10-sided coin. Any single one of those teams can win, can make it to the Final Four. It just is a matter of who has the who's on that day, who manages to catch one of the big guns when they're just slightly off their game and capitalize on that and take them apart. I mean, it's a crapshoot anyway at this point. So why not be all over the place?
Exactly. So who are your Final Four again, Patty?
I think I said Situation, Shockwave, Cobra Kai, and Flying D.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are all over the place.
Yeah. But it's good. What I really like is just the point that you made a second ago, Patty. The depth at this tournament, man. It's going to be some good games. This is definitely going to be one of those tournaments where 1 or 2 innings are going to change someone's day. You know what I mean? And you can go from a team has a shitty inning and they go from making it out of pool play to not making it out of pool play, or vice versa. So it's every pitch is going to matter for this tournament for sure.
I'll say it's tighter than that. It's not a matter of 1 or 2 innings are going to make the difference. 1 or 2 plays can make the difference. I mean, we obviously saw it at the Circuit Cup Championship last year, the epic match between Meatballs and Shockwave in the round of 16. Nothing happened in that game, which is very, very boring to watch if you don't know kickball. If you do know kickball, it was an incredibly tense game, and it came down to Meatballs blinked once. One play, and that changed the outcome of the entire game. And with a tournament this deep, with teams like this, there are going to be a lot of games that are that tight, just piano wire tight. And all it's going to take is one play for somebody to move on. Now, that being said, since we know that it is a tournament and things tend to happen, there are also going to be probably some interesting blowouts in pool play, and even in the Olymps, like we saw in South Florida a couple of months ago. Who'd have thought that the Situation Meatball games was not going to be that tight? I mean, Meatballs pretty much ran away with that game. It was not the nail-biting, tense game that everybody was expecting. So, anything can happen, and it probably will.
Agreed.
Rick, what's your game to watch in pool play? Who do you want to see? Who are you looking forward to?
Who do I want to see? I mean, there are a bunch of good matchups. If I had to pick one, I would pick Lights Out and Flying D, just because the salt and the history there with Bez and his former team, and I'm sure he'll be gunning for him, and that'd probably be the one that I'd want to watch. Second one would probably be the Situation ODB game. I think that's going to be a fun one to watch as well.
Definitely. All right, so we've got our Final Four. We got our games to watch. The co-ed side of the tournament is extremely deep. Somebody's going to walk out of there with a little bit of money and a hell of a day worth of kickball. So that's that.
That's that. Moving on then to the women's tournament, which is happening on Sunday. We've got what 20, 21 teams in that tournament.
We got 20.
20 teams, perfect. So hey, that works out to have 4 pools of 5. That's easy, Matt. I love that. Thank you, ladies, for making things easy on all of us. But this one is not a snake seed. I believe we are doing a bit of bin draw for it. So we've got the 4 pools. I imagine the number 1 seed in each pool is probably already set. And then we're drawing from there. So, Stephen, you got your bucket full of names. Take it away. Tell us what we got going on.
Real quick, we're doing 5 pools of 4 instead of 4 pools.
5 pools of 4. Oh, dude, I just totally screwed that up. By being wrong, I've ruined the rhythm of the podcast. I'm sorry. I feel awful. So we've got 5 pools of 4, and we still got some drawing to happen.
Yeah, so by doing that, we'll eliminate the buys in pool play, and we'll shave about 2 hours off the tournament. So everybody with those travel plans on Sunday, we're looking out for you. So that's the benefit of doing that. Everybody will still get their guaranteed 4 games, and Steve will kind of explain the format here.
Right.
Excellent. So,
yep. So this is how this is going to break down. Essentially, with 5 pools of 4, the top 5 seeds are going to, of course, be the number 1 seed in each pool. Those top 5 are DMV 18 at 1, VA Hustle, Shockwave Crush, Flying BJs, and then Bombshells. And then we have 6 through 10, By Felicia, High Beams, Hussy Ride, and the Smoking A-Holes team. The number 10 seed, and then everybody else is an open team. So essentially, we have 2 bins. We have the bin with all the open teams in it, and then this is 6 through 9. What I'm going to start off by doing is I'm going to draw from this open bin, and that's going to become theoretically the number 10 team to go into this middle bin. Okay, and then we'll start drawing from there. And then once we finish all of the middle seeded teams, then we'll go pool to pool from the open bin again, and we'll essentially have our pools that way. All right? Make sense to everybody?
makes sense to me.
All right, so here we go. This is the team from the open bin that will be going into the middle bin. The team going, and I think this actually works out all right. The team going into the middle bin is, how do you say this, Brick? Nah?
No, I think.
Nah, I saw that circuit cup and I was like, you don't say anything to anyone, but I walked around for a good 5 minutes like, a nay? Nah? Okay, well, anyway. So they go into the middle bin, and now we start to draw. So this team that I'm about to pull will be going into pool number A with DMV 18. That team is, lo and behold, Nah.
Ooh, that's a good matchup right there. I like it.
In pool B with VA Hustle, we're going to have number 9 seed Smoking A-Holes. Interesting choice of name. Pool C with Shockwave Crush, we are going to have High Beams.
There's a 50-50 chance here.
Yeah, let me see here. High Beams, number 7.
We're really hoping you don't pull Bifo.
Going into Pool D with the Flying Vjays. Number 6 seed, By Felicia.
Oh, man. They would have been a great matchup for Bombshells. A lot of them wanted that one.
So going into that Pool E, Hussy Riot.
Cool.
All right, so we've got the top 2 for each pool. Now we're going to draw from the open teams to fill in the rest of the spots. Heading into Pool A with DMV 18 in the Nah. Delusions of Grandeur. Delusions of Grandeur going to that play. Delusions. Pool B is going to be Queens. Queens head into that pool. Pool C, Killer Instinct. Pool D, The Pink Ladies. Pool E, Voodoo Dolls. Back up to Pool A, last teams now. Pool A, Lady Phenoms. Pool B, Rock You. Pool C, #1 Stunners. Pool D, 99 Problems. Last one. Shut Up and Play. So here are your pools for the women's tournament. Pool A is going to be DMV 18, Ana, Delusions of Grandeur, and Lady Phenoms. Pool B is going to be VA Hustle, Smoking A-Holes, Queens, and Rock You. Pool C is going to be Shockwave Crush, High Beams, Killer Instinct, and #1 Stunners. Pool D is going to be Flying VJs, By Felicia, Pink Ladies, and 99 Problems. And then Pool E is going to be Bombshells, Hussy Ride, Voodoo Dolls, and Shut Up and Play.
Interesting.
All right. Now, just so we know and can kind of put everything together, what is the crossover protocol for this?
So there is no crossover because we have 5 pools, so that wouldn't work. So the way that we're going to do it is 3 pool play games, and then after that we'll have a short break to tally up the scores. Teams 12 through 20 will play basically a play-in game.
Gotcha.
That will go into the single elimination tournament or I guess we'll go into the other. We'll fill in the rest of the bracket for the 16-team elimination. So that's where everybody gets their 4th game.
Okay.
We're doing it that way. So,
Perfect.
We did Jacksonville last year. We had some good success there. So kind of gives you that extra game to, if you're an 0-3 team, you still have a chance to advance. So not all is lost.
That'd be kind of fun. Go 0-3 in pool play, yet still make it to the round of 16. I like that.
All about giving the people what they want.
Yep. Perfect. I will go ahead and confess that I obviously recognize a number of names on the list, but I could not tell you much of anything as far as how these teams play, how these teams match up against each other, and who has a shot to win it, other than the top names that we recognize from last year. DMV 18, Virginia Hustle, Shockwave Crush, the Jays, etc. And that's just because I don't think there's a single squad here that comes from this here left coast. So I have zero information on any of them. Brick, this is all you. Tell us how this is going to play out.
Well, yeah, I know a good bit about most of the teams. There's a lot of depth here, a lot of women talent, some new St. Louis teams that are coming for the first time. Ana, how Steve likes to say it, Ana, is a very, very quality team. I don't think they had the success they wanted at Circuit Cup, but from playing them in a tournament earlier last year, they're a really, really good team if they bring the right pieces. Queens is another team that's been around for years. They won a tournament a couple years ago here in Atlanta. And then some of the new teams that are just kind of sprouting up. I see a lot of teams that have kind of merged as well that had some success. There are a couple teams that finished in the Elite Eight last year in Georgia that are now playing together. So that could be a recipe for success. I don't know. I definitely think it is top heavy. There's probably six or so teams that have a chance at winning this. I think it's DMV's tournament to lose. They've shown time in and time out that they are going to be the cream of the crop. Their consistency is there. They have the depth. It's just about as close to a well-oiled machine as you can get. But there's 4, 5, 6 other teams that can give them a run. Virginia Hustle, they are bringing a very, very strong team. Those girls seem to get better each tournament out there. And from what I've heard, they have pretty much the same core that they brought to Circuit Cup last year. And they picked up a couple new players. But where that kind of sets them apart is I think those players are actually going to be players that contribute more. It's not more of the depth. It's more people that are going to be playing the skilled positions. So they may be my outside chance or outside shot of somebody that has a chance of knocking off DMV for the Final Four team.
Excellent. Well, I'll tell you what I like about the relative newness of the women's tournaments is because we don't necessarily know the teams as well as we know the co-ed teams. I mean, the co-ed teams, we've got years of history, so we tend to know those teams very well. With the girls' tournaments, it's still new enough that there really does seem like the opportunity for some surprises. And yeah, you talked about the 4, 5, 6 teams that are set up to do well and win this tournament. But this is a case where, because it is new enough, not all of these squads have faced each other. The teams and the women's tournaments are kind of settling in. There can be an outlier, an outsider that a team that nobody had ever heard of, a team that had never played in a tournament before, could come in and just do spectacular because it is still new enough. I mean, I feel on the co-ed side of things, we know most of the teams now. And if you're a new team that comes in and does well, you're not going to be unknown for long. And chances are you probably are going to have some known players on it anyway. But I like the idea, particularly with the girls' tournament this size, 20 teams in there. You've got the favorites and the ones that you expect to see to do all right and probably make it to the Final Four in the championship. But that being said, if somebody comes out of nowhere, I don't think anybody will be too surprised. That still feels like it can happen with the girls' tournaments in the game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Lady Phenoms played in DC last year, but they've only played in one tournament. Queens, like I said, is a very solid team out of St. Louis that's played in some of the other tour events. So they're not really known on the circuit schedule, but I mean they've got some girls that can play. I've seen them. Killer Instinct, a team here from Atlanta. I know they play in leagues here. I'm not exactly sure where they might stack up here. I've never seen them play, but that's probably another team to keep an eye out on. And then Shut Up and Play. The last team that you drew there, sitting there in a 4 seed, but that team is the one that I was mentioning is kind of combination of 2 teams that finished in the Elite Eight last year in Georgia. So a lot of talent on that team. They could be kind of that outlier that sneaks in there. But you're right. I mean, it can easily be anybody's game. You could see 1 or 2 teams in the Final Four that you definitely didn't expect there. The errors or those plays kind of compound a little more in the women's game.
Sure.
I definitely I think it's just awesome that there's 20 female teams at a tournament. I think that's phenomenal. Just as to go. We've been doing this. This is really the second year of women events, and so to have one this early in the year that does have 20 teams, I think that's awesome. And I'm hoping that it's just a great experience for all of them. And there are definitely some standout names simply because we've seen them play or we saw them play at CCC. But outside of that, man, I couldn't call it if you paid me to.
Yeah. All 20 represented from basically the majority of the U.S. You got teams from St. Louis all the way down to Texas, and then all up and down the East Coast, Fort Lauderdale, all the way up to Pennsylvania. So definitely well represented. Lots of teams coming from far out. I'm excited to see the women's tournament grow. We had a great showing of, I think, 16 teams last year. To see it grow by 25% this year is huge. I'm hoping to see the same sort of success at other events, Jacksonville, D.C., and then out there on the left coast with you, Stephen. Yeah, I think the women's game is going to be a huge focal point this year, and I'm excited to see all the new teams that are forming as a result of it.
Definitely. All right. Well, let's get to some coin flipping, Patty. Who you picking? Final four.
No. I'm not yet. I mean, didn't I just say that this is even less predictable than the co-ed tournament? And now you're asking me to put my name on something? I ain't going to do it. But I like what Brick said, so I'm going to say Shut Up and Play wins the whole thing. Based solely on Brick's recommendation. Please note this is also how I buy stocks and invest in my future, and the money is by whatever Brick says. That's where I throw all my money. So Shut Up and Play is going to win the whole thing. How's that?
You heard it here first.
Brick, how do you feel about it? DMV's to lose still?
Yeah, I think so. I think DMV, Virginia Hustle are on the top there. Fill in 2 more spots for the Final Four. I would probably go with Bombshells. Again, a combo team. A lot of the same girls that played on Shady Beaches last year, which won this tournament, which knocked off DMV, and I guess it was DMV in the finals. They had a tough road there. And my other Final Four pick, I'll go with Anna. So DMV, VA Hustle, Bombshells, and Anna out of St. Louis. Those are my 4 teams. I'm not picking my team on purpose because anytime I do, we don't do well.
Gotta do the sneaker dark horse. I like it.
Moving on, ladies.
Nice. I'm gonna go. My 4 are going to be DMV 18, VA Hustle. That's also my championship game as well. DMV 18 versus VA Hustle, and then I'm gonna go Bombshells and Flying VJs, you guys. I think that's the Final Four, and DMV 18 and VA Hustle the championship.
Be a good one.
Yeah.
I do want to just pose the question out there into the universe. How long until will we see it in the next couple of years, a dual tournament event where there are more women's teams than there are co-ed teams? Are we going to see that this year or next year?
I think the only DC might have a chance of doing it just because of the traction. There's a lot of teams up there. Maybe some of these Atlanta teams will travel. I don't know. But, Atlanta's got a huge following for women's kickball. I hear DC as well. So it just depends on how well we're able to tap into that market. I don't think we're there yet, but I can easily see it next year. Last year GKO had 21 co-ed teams. So if we had been on the same pace this year, we're looking at 2 even tournaments. So
yeah,
I don't think we're very far off.
Not at all. I agree with that. I think that with the way the women's sport is growing and the way the girls are responding to it, I do think within the next year or so we will have 1 or 2 events where the women's teams outnumber the guys' teams, or the co-ed teams. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right, well, there we go. That's upcoming weekend's tournament. GKO, co-ed tournament, women's tournament on Sunday, co-ed on Saturday. Gentlemen, have we missed talking about anything important for this upcoming tournament, or have we kind of nailed all the bullet points?
Brick, do you have anything specific for teams that they need to know going in or anything like that?
Not really. I did just send out an email about 45 minutes ago regarding the no cooler policy. So captains, make sure you check your email. Feel free to reach out. Let me know something we didn't expect, but we're going to go with the hand that we got dealt. But basically, no big coolers. Everybody's allowed to have personal coolers, soft-sided coolers. We do have a contingency policy where we are going to be able to provide at a cost Dasani water, blue and red Powerade. By the case. All the captains have that information. They'll be prepaying for it. You'll get tickets basically once we get the money to redeem on game day. So you can go your first 2 games, you can redeem 1 case of water, which we'll be keeping cool or as cool as we can for you. Later on in the day, you can come back and redeem the second cooler or the second case. That way, you're not having to lug 3, 4 cases around. It's not getting warm, and we're gonna do our best to make sure that we have cold product there for you. So, making the best out of a unfortunate or inconvenient situation, but I think we've got it covered, and it actually might end up being a convenience. So you don't have to go to the store and lug all that stuff around. You don't have to worry about a cooler. So we'll see how it plays out, but I'm here to answer any questions. And again, the captains have all that information. They'll be the ones coordinating everything. So that's the only other big announcement I have.
Yeah. Well, I will absolutely congratulate you on planning a fantastic event, man. This is amazing. What is it? 47 teams between the 2 tournaments. That's pretty legit. So kudos to you, sir. And I'm looking forward to seeing some great feedback from your event.
Yeah, don't congratulate him yet, Steven. You're going to jinx him. He hasn't gotten through it yet. I mean, I like that he made it this big. Good work on that. But yeah, he hasn't executed it yet. So let's wait till after the weekend. Because if we start patting him on the head too much, hubris is going to take over and he's going to screw the whole thing up.
He's going to handle it well. I know Brick is he's got his ducks in a row. So of course there's always things that are unforeseen. Whenever game day, comes around, but he's experienced enough to roll with the punches. I absolutely know it's going to be good.
I think it'll be all right. All right. Well, if there's no other information to discuss, then good luck to everybody playing there this weekend. Have fun in Georgia. Play well. Try to win. You all know that shit. And we will be back in a few weeks to talk about, well, I guess the next tournament after that will be Austin, so we will certainly have that preview. But in the meantime, pay attention to the scores. Scoreboard 365 will very likely be up and running on Saturday, so you can track all of your favorite teams and see how they're doing if you're not attending. There may even be some live streaming, but I don't know if that's been confirmed yet or not. So there you go. Enjoy the tournament. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Next time.
Yeah, thanks.